I'm the most annoying guy on set because I'm saying, excuse me, you do realize that this should be happening and they wouldn't do that, and you haven't read this, that means this would be impossible. And everyone's just going, Henry, just shut up and do the thing. And I'm like, I don't want to do the thing because he wouldn't do it this way, and he can do this. But with Sherlock, because I absolved myself of being that psychopathic law loyalist, I instead had the wonderful opportunity to work with Jack Thorne's script, work with Harry Bradbeer, the director, and work with Millie Bobby Brown, the lead actress, and also my producer. We could craft a Sherlock which was supportive of Enola as a character. And for me, that was a real joy. And so, to answer your question, there's no one character more than the other which I put pressure on. I take the character onto myself, and it's more about self-pressure than external pressure.
Henry Cavill is known for staying calm and collected, especially when dealing with criticism. But recently, he was asked about the toxic fandom around his projects, putting his approach to the test. His response was cool, respectful, and supportive of fans. On the other hand, Rachel Zegler's comments about the backlash to her Snow White role have caused even more controversy. Many felt she dismissed critics too harshly, leading to even more backlash. Despite both actors facing strong public criticism, their reactions were completely different. In this video, we'll compare how Henry Cavill and Rachel Zegler handled the backlash and why Cavill might have the advantage.
I'm not easily impressed.
No.
I know some people who have done genuinely, seriously impressive stuff. And watching Tom do these stunts, especially in the mountains, in that helicopter, I just thought, okay, I'm officially impressed. This is ridiculous what he's doing. And he learns all these skills for these movies and does them to an elite level. It is remarkable. Truly remarkable.
Did you feel the pressure to keep up with him?
He sets a wonderful example and a great bar to reach for.
Before comparing how Henry Cavill and Rachel Zegler reacted to fan criticism, let's take a moment to appreciate Cavill's calm and respectful approach, especially when compared to Zegler's more chaotic response. When Rachel Zegler's controversial comments started causing backlash, many expected other Hollywood actors to weigh in. What followed showed just how differently two stars can handle a similar situation. Henry Cavill, who has been part of passionate fandoms for years, didn't get defensive, he simply laughed it off. Fans of The Witcher books and games were initially skeptical when he was cast as Geralt, fearing he wouldn't do the character justice. Later, when the show made changes to the source material, fans voiced their frustrations. But instead of dismissing or mocking them like Zegler did with her critics, Cavill showed understanding. He recognized that fans weren't being toxic, they were just deeply connected to something they loved. When asked about criticism of The Witcher, Cavill didn't get angry or defensive. With a smile, he acknowledged that fans have the right to their opinions, even if they criticize his work. This calm and empathetic response was the complete opposite of Zegler's reaction. Rather than engaging with fans, she labeled them as toxic and dismissed their concerns entirely. Cavill's ability to respect and understand fan passion while maintaining a positive attitude is a big reason why audiences love him. His approach helped him stay connected with his fans, while Zegler's dismissive attitude only pushed hers away. In the end, Cavill showed that handling criticism with humility, respect, and a bit of humor can make all the difference.
Disney is scaling back the premiere of the new Snow White movie. Instead of the usual over-the-top, extravagant event, the studio will hold a low-key pre-party and screening at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood. Unlike traditional red carpets, lead stars Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot will not take questions from the media. Can you imagine the Disney PR team before this event? Please, just don't let Rachel talk. For the love, she's been killing this movie. Snow White is set for release on March 21st. Insiders say that Disney's considering one last move with Snow White, pretending that it was a deepfake created by Russian trolls.
Disney's live-action Snow White has been a disaster from the start, but the latest controversy has taken it to a whole new level. Even Henry Cavill couldn't help but laugh. While Rachel Zegler has spent months defending the film's changes and attacking critics, Cavill's reaction was pure amusement, showing just how absurd the situation has become. At a recent event, Cavill was asked about the ongoing drama, particularly Zegler's repeated complaints about the original Snow White being outdated and her insistence that the new version would focus on leadership instead of love. Instead of getting involved, Cavill simply chuckled and dismissed the controversy. His reaction quickly went viral, with many fans seeing it as a subtle jab at Zegler's over-the-top statements. Zegler has been at the center of backlash ever since she was cast. From the start, she alienated fans by mocking the 1937 classic, calling it outdated and rejecting the idea of Snow White dreaming of true love. She insisted her version would focus on independence and leadership instead. Rather than winning over audiences, her comments sparked outrage, with many accusing her of disrespecting the beloved film. Things escalated when Disney announced that the Seven Dwarfs would be replaced with a diverse group of magical creatures. The studio claimed it was to avoid stereotypes, but fans saw it as another example of Disney prioritizing political correctness over storytelling. The backlash was swift, with many arguing that Disney was erasing a key part of the original movie's charm. Unlike Zegler, who has lashed out at critics, Cavill took the high road, one of the reasons he remains one of Hollywood's most respected actors. Instead of making political statements or insulting the audience, he simply laughed. That was all he needed to do, and his reaction spoke volumes. This clear contrast between the two actors has only made Zegler's handling of the controversy look worse. While Cavill is known for respecting fans and staying professional, Zegler's dismissive attitude has only fueled the backlash. In response to the criticism, Disney has scaled back its plans for the film's premiere, opting for a small, low-key event at the El Capitan Theatre instead of a grand red carpet launch. But with the controversy still raging, no amount of damage control can erase the bad press surrounding Snow White. Meanwhile, Henry Cavill remains a fan favorite, proving that sometimes the best response to Hollywood drama is just a good laugh. And in this case, his reaction perfectly summed up what many fans have been thinking: this whole situation is beyond embarrassing.
Goodness me. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. I really feel the love, and I love you guys too. It's so wonderful to be here. But I'm going to talk about what it was like filming my final season, and I actually just want to talk about my co-stars here, because once again, it was such a pleasure and an honor to be working with you guys. You guys bring so much nuance and detail to these characters, which are often at risk of being oversimplified. And what you guys have done with the characters has involved work, care, and effort. And believe me, working with you guys was the biggest pleasure. So, just want to say I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you very much.
Me, right?
For cardio's sake, what do you do for cardio? No cardio.
No, I run. That's the savory answer.
Yeah. So what is the real answer?
I think they get it.
Oh.
I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My oldest brother was 4 years older than me. He was considerably larger and incredibly strong. Simon, he was so strong that we would make fun of him by saying Hulk smash every time he got angry.
Were you guys surprised to find out that he was a gamer?
No. Not really. No.
Not at all.
No, I wear my geek on my sleeve.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess it's probably, is it pretty hard for you to like come to something like Comic-Con and just wander around and...
I don't wander around, man. Like,
yeah, you don't get to.
I walk around sort of back alleyways and stuff, and yeah.
A big NFL football fan.
Yes.
Which is unusual because typically when someone from England will come here, they get annoyed when I say football, referring to football.
Football, right.
Because soccer's called football over there, but we know what the real football is. It's here. But you are what fan of the Chiefs, right?
I'm a Chiefs fan, yeah.
And how did that happen?
Okay, so I spend a lot of time over here, obviously, and I've been watching some American football. I started to like the sport, and I realized I had to choose a team. And the only way I could choose a team was with something that was never going to change. So it wasn't going to be my buddy likes this team or whatever it may be. So I figured the one thing which won't ever change in my life is the Superman aspect of it. And I figured Superman's from Kansas.
the Chiefs, people in Kansas support the Chiefs. It just all added up.
So you just kind of said like, oh, if Superman was a football fan,
Oh, he'd definitely be a Chiefs fan.
he'd be a Chiefs fan.
100%.
And you're probably right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
Henry Cavill's departure from The Witcher wasn't just about scheduling conflicts or his return as Superman. According to insiders, the real reason was his frustration with Netflix's disregard for the original source material. This issue ties into a larger trend in Hollywood, modernizing classic stories in ways that often stray from what made them beloved in the first place. Unlike many actors who take on franchise roles without much knowledge of them, Cavill is a true Witcher fan. He has read Andrzej Sapkowski's novels, played the Witcher games extensively, and has always expressed deep admiration for the franchise. For him, this wasn't just another job, it was a passion project. However, during his time on The Witcher, Cavill frequently clashed with the show's writers over changes that strayed too far from the books. He often corrected them on set when their decisions contradicted established law, pushing for the series to stay true to its roots. But instead of respecting The Witcher's original world, the creators insisted on modernizing it in ways that alienated longtime fans. Cavill's frustration wasn't just about minor creative differences. He reportedly took issue with Netflix's push for changes that altered the core of The Witcher, including character reworks and revisionist storytelling. Fans felt that instead of honoring the Slavic folklore and European mythology that define the series, Netflix prioritized ideological messaging over authenticity. The spin-off series Blood Origin was a perfect example of this approach failing. It received a disastrous 13% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with fans rejecting the unnecessary changes. They didn't want a politically reimagined version of The Witcher, they wanted a faithful adaptation. Cavill has always shown deep respect for the characters he plays, whether it's Superman, Geralt, or his future roles. He believes in staying true to the source material and honoring fan expectations. But in today's Hollywood, prioritizing authenticity over ideological trends is often seen as a problem. Many studios choose to rewrite classic stories rather than preserve what made them great. Rather than attacking fans or making excuses, Cavill took a stand. He refused to be part of a project that disrespected the franchise and ultimately walked away. His departure was a major blow to The Witcher, and Netflix struggled to maintain the show's momentum afterward. The franchise failed to capture the Game of Thrones success they had hoped for, and the growing disconnect between Netflix and its audience became more apparent. In 2022, Netflix's stock dropped by over 50%, reflecting the backlash from viewers who were tired of seeing beloved franchises reworked to fit modern narratives. Meanwhile, Cavill has moved on to Warhammer 40K, a project where he will have full creative control, ensuring it won't suffer from the same issues that plagued The Witcher. Cavill's exit was more than just an actor leaving a show, it was a statement against Hollywood's habit of changing beloved franchises in ways that frustrate fans. While many actors simply go along with these changes, Cavill stood firm for authentic storytelling. He refused to compromise his principles, proving that sometimes, the best way to fight back is to walk away with integrity intact.
Are you really a nerd? Because I know you don't look like a nerd. You look like the opposite of a nerd.
Right.
You look like the quarterback or even, the offensive lineman or something like that. You're a big, handsome, muscular guy. And yet, you have hobbies, the hobbies of a nerd. Would you...
I do.
I'm told are very involved with, and this is... What is this thing you're painting?
It's a helmet. A very small helmet.
And this is the full figure...
And that is a body attached
to the helmet. You painted this.
I did.
And then you play with it?
You paint many of them, and then you play with them with other people.
How many did you paint?
Well,
like more than one?
It's within the confines of the hobby. We call it our grey pile of shame.
Your grey pile of shame?
Yeah, because they start off grey, and I have a very large grey pile of shame.
Are they metal or are they plastic?
They are plastic. They used to be metal, but now they're all plastic.
If I could change the world in some way. That's a very good question. I don't really know.
You nearly lost quite an important job?
Absolutely, yeah. I was playing a game called World of Warcraft. I missed the call from Zack Snyder to tell me I got Superman.
But, like, did you hear the phone ringing?
I did.
And you chose to ignore it?
Absolutely.
Did you win the video game?
Sadly, no. So I called him back immediately and said, I'm really sorry, I was saving someone's life. And I missed your call.
Which is what I do all the time.
And then he gave me the news.
So you were forgiven.
I was.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're a PC gamer?
Yeah.
What, was that from when you were young? Or?
Yes. Yeah, my dad got me into that when I was very, very young.
Did you kind of build your own gaming PC?
I have not quite ventured into building my own myself. I definitely have had custom PCs over the years. That will be the next project. As soon as I find enough time and bravery, I might put my own PC together.
They're stronger than regular humans. They're trained excessively, and they are used to kill monsters. And we find Geralt in season 2 after having denied the responsibility of having a child surprise, which is, oh goodness, this is a long explanation.
Read the books.
I was wondering what the geekiest thing in your house was. I mean, aside from your gaming rig.
Geekiest thing would have to be my Warhammer stuff.
We're talking Games Workshop, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah. It's that took me a while to kind of confess to openly and publicly.
A collection of white undercoat spray paint that just lurks in the back of the cupboard.
Yeah. I was like, what's this? For graffiti.
What's that you have to dehydrate yourself?
That's the worst part of it. Like, diet is difficult, and you're hungry, but when you're dehydrating for 3 days, you get to the point on the last day where you can smell water, like nearby.
So why did you do that? To get super toad?
It gets it makes your skin really thin, so it sits on the muscles.
How do you feel now? Do you feel that Henry isn't really able to come out himself now?
My moustache bullies me. I can barely sleep at night. It forces me to put a moustache hammock onto it, so it can sleep, so I can sleep.
Who would have known the drama?
It is the master.
Henry Cavill has consistently shown that he values authenticity over Hollywood's tendency to inject politics into storytelling. Unlike many actors who follow studio agendas to protect their careers, Cavill stands firm in his belief that stories should stay true to their original vision. His history of walking away from projects that disrespect source material and fans proves he refuses to conform to Hollywood's changing trends. His departure from The Witcher is a prime example. Cavill was deeply passionate about playing Geralt of Rivia and wanted to portray him as accurately as possible. However, the show's writers took a different approach, straying from the Slavic folklore and making changes that frustrated fans. Instead of respecting Andrzej Sapkowski's novels, they altered the story to fit modern trends, which Cavill repeatedly pushed back against. When it became clear that Netflix prioritized messaging over storytelling, he chose to leave. The aftermath spoke for itself. The spin-off The Witcher, Blood Origin, which fully embraced these changes, flopped with a 13% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, becoming one of Netflix's worst-rated shows. Cavill saw this failure coming and refused to be part of it. A similar situation occurred with Superman. Cavill wanted to bring back the classic, hopeful version of the character that fans loved. However, Warner Brothers had different plans, looking to reinvent Superman to fit a modern narrative, even considering replacing him with a completely different version of the character. Once again, Cavill stood his ground, refusing to compromise his principles, and ultimately walked away. Now, rumors suggest Cavill may be in talks with Lucasfilm for a Star Wars role. Given Disney's recent struggles with the franchise, many fans worry this could be another misstep. However, Cavill has never been one to take a role just for a paycheck. If he joins Star Wars, it will be on his terms, ensuring the story respects the original vision. If Disney tries to force the same creative decisions that have alienated fans in recent years, there's no doubt Cavill will walk away, just as he did with The Witcher and Superman. Perhaps the strongest proof of Cavill's commitment to authenticity is his involvement in Warhammer 40k. This isn't just another acting job for him, it's a personal project where he has full creative control. As a lifelong fan, Cavill is producing the series himself to prevent Hollywood from altering it. He understands what makes Warhammer 40k special and is determined to protect it from outside interference. Cavill's career choices make it clear that he isn't interested in turning beloved franchises into political statements. He has walked away from roles that disrespected their original material, even when it cost him major opportunities. Whether it's The Witcher, Superman, or Star Wars, He has always fought to keep stories true to what made them great. And that's exactly why fans trust him.
I mean, you are genuinely a fan of the books and the game and everything. Apparently, on set, you know more than anyone else.
I wouldn't necessarily say anyone else, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. So do you correct people?
I don't necessarily.
Bitwit Kyle, who I watched a lot of YouTube videos of, and he was absolutely fantastic. He was really informative about how to do all this stuff. And then it's just reading the manual, which a lot of people don't do. And they end up asking questions online, and people always respond with RTFM,
which is
read the manual.
What are your go-to sci-fi or fantasy recommendations in the world of books?
Anything by Raymond E. Feist, anything by David Gemmell, anything by Brandon Sanderson, and obviously Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time.
That was like a shoot from the hip, 4 in the head.
Your nerd flag with pride.
Yes.
Now, one of your hobbies, and he's got a lot of them, ladies and gentlemen, one of your hobbies is you paint...
Makes me sound weird.
Well, you do have more hobbies than the average man, I'd say. But you paint, is it World of Warcraft?
Warhammer.
Warhammer, I'm a fool.
Playing a demigod informing your preparation for Superman.
Well, I'm going to say Theseus isn't a demigod.
That's what it says on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Wikipedia? Using Wikipedia as your source of information?
Hollywood has often tried to silence actors who don't align with its agenda, but Henry Cavill's massive fan support makes him untouchable. Fans rally behind him because he represents something rare in the industry, integrity. As long as Cavill continues to reject forced changes in storytelling and fight for faithful adaptations, he will remain a hero to audiences who are tired of Hollywood rewriting beloved stories. His calm and respectful approach to criticism stands in sharp contrast to Rachel Zegler's more dismissive attitude, proving that empathy plays a crucial role in maintaining a strong connection with fans. Cavill's refusal to compromise his values, seen in his decisions to walk away from The Witcher and Superman, demonstrates his dedication to authentic storytelling. While many in the industry push for ideological shifts, he stays true to the original material, and the audiences who love it. Hollywood continues to prioritize messaging over storytelling. Cavill remains a symbol of integrity. If you value true storytelling, support actors like him, those who stand firm in preserving the stories we love.